on with the market into today's trading session. You have about 3,400 advancers and about 2,700 decliners. A bit more to the bullish side, but extremely questionable as right now with SPY, the overall market is reaching back up to this 710 is a big resistance point, a resistance point that they've been hitting on the last few days as well after reaching up to the new highs of 712. I'm going to show you something that just happened in real time off of this spike right here. I actually just looked back to see the news that came out about 4 minutes ago about the deadline set by Trump for the Iranians by this coming Sunday. That news coming out 4 minutes ago just made this spike that we're seeing here happen 4 minutes ago. Such a war that's going on now. All the stuff that's going on out there is fueling the bullishness to the markets, okay? But we'll get back to that in just 1 second. Another thing that's keeping things driven to the bullish side is the bullish trend that's coming in to BTC. If you recall, BTC just crashed back down. If you don't know and you're newer to the markets, then you need to know this. BTC just crashed back down from 126,000 all the way down to $60,000 off of this reversal. They took a while to build support, but it didn't really even take that long. It actually only took about a month and a half, almost 2 months for them to build that, where they will finally just now start to come in for this reversal that's coming back in. From the lows of that 60,000 back up to this overall 80,000 on BTC is pushing BTC back up to a major resistance point, a overall resistance 2. This has been dragging up your overall SPY. You can see SPY stopping at a resistance 2, making your IWM follow along with the same trend. Of course, that SPY is going to follow, and SPY is following BTC right up to a resistance 2. These things are getting ready to crash back down to a resistance 1 and or pivot point. Look forward to finding support around those ranges, especially if you are the swing trader, because the swing traders are already getting ready to go towards a bearish side. Just ride the flow of overbought back down to oversold. If you caught that trend of oversold from 60,000 back down at the very bottom here on a BTC when it was bouncing off of support 1 for this reversal to this resistance of 80,000, and now, well, that uptrend alone would have put you up about 1,000%, 1,100% to be exact. It was a little bit further past that, but we're coming in for a smidge of the bullishness right now, looking to see if it's going to break past that. Usually towards the weekend, they like to get the bearishness done for BTC so it doesn't affect the overall market, so that the markets can stay up at the new highs rather than crash back down. So when BTC is done having its overall pullback for the weekend and then opens back up for the next big round of bullishness, pushing back up towards, I don't know, 90,000, whatever that next resistance 3 is, all the way up there, well, that gives SPY and IWM and the rest of the markets the power to climb and follow that trend. We could be seeing some new highs be ready to unfold, especially if they continue to come in for more hot news. Look at this. This just came in just 1 minute ago. The enforcement action may be needed on Canada's treatment of U.S. wine and spirits. That's about to affect somewhere across the markets. You want to make sure you are seeing what's happening in real time. Right now, we are getting some bullish updates about an hour ago for things like QQQ, SPY, and IWM for a decently bullish trend. Actually, I don't look into QQQ too often. I used to trade it often, but in this specific case, QQQ is going to follow along with that same trend, and they are predicting that this goes well beyond that 656 all the way up to maybe even 667. That's a decent uptrend that's going to make the rest of the markets rally as well, just showing you what could possibly come in next, okay? So make sure you keep your eyes on everything into today's most active stocks, not getting too much volume, only about 300 million on the volume for your top most active stock, your top most active stock being the CTNT, the most questionable stock on the entire market. Every stock does get its day, whether that day comes sooner or later. Different various key statistics do matter into today's trading session, with a volume of 290 million, almost 300 million, over an average volume of 38 million. They are getting over an overall free flow of 36 million. Enough volume to make this thing get active, and they are starting to get kind of bullish down there towards that support level 1. But if they break that, then the next fall back down to be about 2 cents. The problem with this right now is CTNT. Not only have they had such a major ridiculous battle throughout the entire time, and throughout some of those times being out around said type of meme errors where they would come in for different random spikes, being parts of those meme errors, that the stock wasn't good for many stocks, because the second that they would catch that spike, now they stuck with that type of trend. People are going to get that money, sell off, and never want to mess with it again. A lot of people, a lot of those massive shorts that are in from $236 all the way down to 3 cents, That's ridiculous, actually. That's crazy. You know, they don't want to let that go. In fact, I'm not just going to tell you that. I am going to show you that over on your Moomoo investing platform, this massive sell-off on CTNT. On your analysis section, we can look at your daily short volume and see how those daily short sell attackers are still coming in for their daily short sell attacks. Although this stock be big in short interest, it's all up to whenever they stop those daily short sell attacks, and this stock starts to rise up enough to get up to a 0.2, about 4 cents, and then break past that, about 5 cents. Ooh, if they get around that 5, maybe almost 6 cents, that's gonna trigger them. I bet they got stop losses all around that 6 cent range. They're not even gonna wake up in the morning to see it happen when those things get triggered and they become automatic buyers because of your short selling. You have a buy to cover button. You have no choice. You can be quick about getting out of here if you don't really want to ride that back up for the reversal. But if they just locked in they shares off of that, or they stop loss got hit even more so, and they become automatic buyers, and those are the big whales, the large scales, those insiders with the billions and billions of dollars who are in like that, and they stop loss to get hit. Well, when that reverses, it triggers the squeeze instantly. You see this thing back here? Check this out. I'll go back here. You see this thing back here? It triggers that squeeze instantly. They didn't even wake up in time. Think about this. A lot of people don't watch the markets like we do. You know how, Banking with Billy, I'm over here making a video. I'm covering everything 2-3 times a day. Maybe you're checking into your videos and your updates, once or twice a day, right? A lot of people don't even look back at the markets. Like, they'll load this up and they won't be looking back for weeks, years. They're not looking back every day. Stuff just happens. Everybody trades and moves a little bit differently. Understanding how other people trade makes a big difference. Understanding what's needed for these companies to really explode and get that juice is very necessary as well. Because right now, if you know not about CTNT, this is a logistics and warehousing service provider. The logistics and warehousing business focus on providing freight forwarding services for clients shipping goods from the United States to mainland China or Hong Kong. It operates as a non-vessel operating common carrier, along with a few other things down there. You know about warehousing and logistics. If you don't know, then you will know the second I go ahead and show you a picture of it right here. You know what a warehouse is. You know what shipping and logistics is. The one big problem with this is that they are not coming out with the updates talking about the one thing that matters for the growth strategies. And the one thing that matters for growth strategies in today's technology and age is being integrated with the overall AI. So important that the second I just open up a new tab, you can already just see it right there. AIs, chat GPTs, and so on and so forth, So these, that's it. That's the next thing. The second that they say we about to go put a AI system into all cargoes, well, this thing goes from being a 3-cent stock to, in fact, it's crazy actually, because I was about to say like a $5-10 stock, but actually this stock, the big whales as we see insiders, they'll push this thing to hundreds. And sometimes they know things that we don't know. But just keep me up to date with what's going on. Don't expect too much, man. You get in and you get yours while you can. I'm going to show you your CTNT on your overall pivot point so you can understand what exactly the range that this thing is out of. That dip down there from this 3 cents. It's already oversold. Like, day traders towards these after hours might want to be looking forward to a spike if they aren't worried about the market starting to turn to a bearish side, which will probably happen either way. But next you got and if you're going for a swing trade, well, you got like $1 is very possible. I don't know what a reverse split is. That's the only thing. Like, they don't have any. Now I've been looking. The last time I seen something about a reverse split was like 2005. Check this out. Like, look, you can go down here to like 2005, and then you can see shareholder meetings and stuff like that. But they don't have any of those things right now, and it's coming because they had 3 cents. So they either voluntarily delist, or I don't know, man. I don't know how long that they have. So I just got to keep your eyes there on CTNT, and I hope that they don't, come in for that. That they will. These companies and stock, they will come in for a sneak attack. They will. So, brace yourself, if anything. But most recently, the Cheetah net, the company recently reported a full year of 2025 revenue growth of 182%, which helps fuel the turnaround story. Again, they're going to need a big turnaround for this. When tiny cap names start moving on improving numbers, these pre-market runs can get wild in a hurry. And that's why I say, like, some things happen, while you're still asleep, which is probably going to be the case with CTNT. So being at lows, if anything, very exciting out there on CTNT. Next, you got ALP. We're not going to do too much talking about ALP. I don't think that ALP is not going to stay up on the most active list. Not even that I think it's not. It's not. This thing is already naturally a very low volume stock. Like, we're talking about an average volume of 1.22 million. It could be lower. Don't get me wrong. It's still in the millions, but a free float of 11.93 million. They don't really get enough juice on an average daily basis. In fact, I'm not just going to say that. I'm going to show you that on their previous history. Look at these candlesticks. Like, some of these don't even got volume. Man. Look at that little stick down there. They can't even call that a candlestick. They barely, and then again, in the pre-market, they'll come in for that move, when you asleep, so, you got to be careful with stuff like this. I'm just pointing this out to you because it's up here on the top and getting a lot of value, but a lot of people are going to be watching out for that. So, not to say they can't make a move and really get that juice, but you know, looking back on the history on understanding the history of how the stock moves makes a big difference. They did come in for some hot news today. Alpha secures a 31.9 million financing backed by Nvidia B300 hardware assets. That is some hot stuff right there. Just being just Nvidia being attached to their name should have been enough, but I guess it's more about OpenAI and Anthropic and AI now. So a lot of, wow, look at it. Such small value even on Nvidia. I haven't looked back at this one in a decent while, so I might go get ready to update Nvidia stock. I think I'm gonna go update a full-on quantum GPU and AI stock all in one or something like that to save us all time. But nonetheless, the hot one down on this list, man, FFAI. As we have the FFAI coming in for a quick pullback here. Now, we were talking about FFAI yesterday. I actually did a bit of a deeper dive talking about what they had going on, why they had going on, what they had going on previously in the past that got them in such situations, even what they were before they were FFAI. In a said lesson, I was pointing out to you that this stock, FFAI, not saying FFAI was a bad stock, but I was pointing out to you that FFAI was already overbought and hitting some bearish divergence. If the markets would be ready to come in for a bit of bearishness, then we'd be getting ready to see FFAI pull back. They have a lot going on. They are making the new age of robotics, and these robots are extremely cheap. This robot costs $35,000. And yes, it does do stuff. Like some of that stuff I was just going through. These robots do all kinds of stuff. They digging and mining, rescuing people. They in the hospitals, diagnosing and saving people. They taking your warehouse jobs and all kinds of stuff. And in fact, they already dancing at the dance parties. The humans don't even dance at dance parties no more. They just watch the robots dance. And we've been talking about this upcoming age. If you've been watching Bankability for these last few years, we've been talking about the upcoming age. We all know that the robots are going to be here doing all kinds of stuff. Anybody could see that coming. It's all about which one you want to participate in. And in this specific case, FFAI is a very good one to be participating in while it's down at these lows. Last night, you got a lot of people who wanted to start to lock in gains that would trigger a bearish trend to be coming in for today, as the FFIE does suffer from today's questionable trading session. But a very hot one at these extreme lows. And how low, you ask? I mean, all the way low. And this stock, man, I think they're getting ready to reverse split. They are getting ready to reverse split. They don't get to that $1 in time. But look, even more news today. Everyday future shares update gives progress on robotics education line. Oh, wow, the robotics education line. They're doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to get ready to go do another FFAI video so we can do a deeper dive, but to look into FFAI's current stats, statistics, and order flows at this current time. You have a bit of a tie on the extra large, just a bit more extra larges going out, more mediums coming in, slightly more larges coming in, slightly more mediums coming in, and more smalls. You just need just one of those big whale insiders to say, yes, let's continue on, for this thing to, wow, look at this. What an insane amount of daily short sell attackers that wanted to come into the stock yesterday. I mean, of course, it was overbought, of course, but geez. Still massive in short interest. FFAI is still a hot one for another trend and a rally. Hey, man, this thing going to be up here on the most active list way longer than the CTNT and ALP, BYND. They're going to get done with those things real. ALP not even going to be up here tomorrow. But these are your most active stocks on the market. I was hoping and fingers crossed that the markets don't come in for the extreme ridiculous crash and back down, but even if they do, I'm going to point this out to you. So right here, I'm going to turn back on your pivot points, right? And when they do start, I'm going to show you SPY and I'm going to show you BTC, so you understand how you profit off of these, so you don't got to be worried about stuff. So let's say right now you holding in on, let's just go to FFAI, for example. Okay, now let's say that you holding in on the FFAI. It's starting to look like this. It didn't hit your stop loss. You only have one set. Maybe you going for the long move or whatever it is, right? But you might be getting a bit nervous because of things like this happen, because you honing in on a smaller time frame that's triggering emotions, right? And you already know that the markets might be coming for some bearishness. This is how you cover yourself. You can call this getting insurance. So if your stock is going to go down, you're going to go down some percent. You can cover that. Let's say you're just going to go down and hit your stop loss and you're only able to lock in 100% gains rather than 150% gains, or let's say it went down and you stopped out a 15-20% loss, whatever it is. Well, as SPY gets ready to go back down, I'm going to go down to a 4-hour chart. As SPY gets ready to crash back down, you're going to get called what's puts. I'm going to show you here exactly what I mean. So I'm just going to just type in puts. I go for puts. Okay, I just go to my section. So I go for puts and shorts. So I go for puts, I go for calls. Like for yesterday's trading example, IWM puts down to 277. This goes up a couple 100%, right? Yesterday on IWM, we go down to a 15-minute chart. Yesterday on IWM, IWM puts down to 277. It went even beyond that, down to like 274. Betting that it goes down, well, you can make an insane profit And that'll cover anything that you may have lost or anything that might be moving slow, so you can still gain even in a bearish market condition. Okay, that does go along with SPY, with BTC, with almost any type of everything doesn't have options, but you can short almost anything. But we'll talk more about that later on. I don't want to overwhelm you with too much. This is what's going on with the markets right now. Later on, we'll be getting ready to talk more about FFAI and their most recent news. Very excited for that one. Let me know if you're in on that one, which ones you are excited for. And then we'll start to get ready to rotate back towards the ACH, the EVTOLs, as your overall EVTOL stocks are preparing for another round of the bullish divergence. And it's about that time. But let me know what you guys think of this. If this was a job well done, I'll see you guys in the next one.